Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Lord Void the Eighth. This is actually my first YouTube video, and for now, I think I'm mostly going to be focusing on Call of War. In case you didn't know, it's a massively multiplayer online game, and basically, um, it's basically a grand strategy game, directing a whole bunch of units and your nation's economy. It's really fun. So I have just started a 22 player. This is not historically accurate, but um, so we're just gonna do a let's play for now. Um, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. So I actually joined this earlier in the day, but I wanted to wait until I started this video to actually start playing. So the first thing are going to want to do is research infantry and armored cars, because infantry are just super important, and I like to have extra units producing to start. And armored cars are they're a gateway to light tanks, which are a super important unit early game. And they've recently added an update where fighters, they actually give you a fighter and an air base to start. So we're going to go into the province list, and so we're going to build barracks on all of our industrial provinces so that we can get producing that infantry right away. I'm not going to produce fighters just because it takes a really long time to research, and actually I'm not quite sure whether or not they've actually given you that research with the update. But so while we're waiting for that to happen, we're going to sort these by resource and build infrastructure on all the ones that we're not currently building, because infrastructure is hugely important. It gives you extra resources, and you're going to need whatever resource at some point in the game. So this infrastructure should be finished in a day, so about 24 hours. As you can see, we've freed up a research slot. Infantry is finished, so we're going to go ahead and just wait. So we're going to produce those infantry now. Looks like the barracks haven't finished yet. Let's check the newspaper. You don't have to do this. I just like to see what's going on. Obviously, Algeria seems social. Yeah, very social. Didn't say roleplay anywhere on this, but I don't care. Makes things interesting. So our barracks should be finished up. Yep. We're going to produce all those infantry and, of course, infrastructure, because goods is super hard to get early game. Which reminds me, after we're done with this, after we're done with this, we need to go and start buying up all the goods and steel from the market, because those are the hardest ones to get early game. So I've seen a lot of people who will just build infrastructure to start and won't produce infantry, because from what I see, they don't even bother building barracks. And I think that's a huge mistake because you want to have as much strength to your army as possible early game, because you never know when you'll end up right next to a gold spender. And I hate when this happens. It doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does, where you don't have quite enough manpower to start, and you just can't produce infantry on all your industrial provinces. So we are going to send an attack force into Belfast so that we can take down Ireland as quickly as possible. We are going to leave the capital though, because really the AI, if they're given enough time, they will upgrade the industrial complex. And if you capture it before it's upgraded to level 2, then it'll be damaged to the point where you have to spend rares to upgrade it, and we don't want to do that because rares are expensive and we need them for research and industrializing our own country, especially in provinces like Aberdeen, because oil is hugely important. So we're gonna finish up building the infrastructure, just because it's hugely important. So we've gotten everything except the food, and it's acceptable if you don't get it on a couple of food provinces, just because you might not have enough. But I suggest getting food and oil up as quickly as you can, no matter what you do. Just because late game you're gonna want that super bad. It's going to be very hard to come across, and you'll hopefully have such a big army that you need lots and lots of food to keep it running. So when we're talking about invading countries, the AI is never going to attack us unless we're already at war with them. We just like to make sure that we attack in overwhelming force, because 2 infantry on the attack can overwhelm 1 infantry anywhere, but the 2 infantry also lose a ton of their morale, and they lose a lot of their fighting power, which is a huge problem. And we're also going to move in some troops to land at Brugge, because I don't even know how to pronounce that, but we're also going to move in some troops to land right there, just because we need to get a landing in Europe as soon as possible. The only problem with mobile is that it's really hard to get control, like where you're tapping, and sometimes it does that. So it can be a little bit tedious, but that's okay because mobile is just great. You can do it wherever you want. So we're not going to declare war quite yet, just because I need to make sure that. Well, actually, let's take advantage of our resources and hold on. Let's see if I can get this to where I can still see what's in Bruges, but it's not going to declare war. So while we're waiting for that interceptor to arrive, we are going to put what units we do have in important territory, because there can be aggressive players to begin with, and they can really be annoying, especially gold spenders who tend to be super aggressive to start. So typically I like to have a nice coastal guard in my cities, just to make sure that, especially my industrial cities, because they love to target those. Just because it's a good precaution to have, and it's not fun to have them taken, because it takes a whole bunch of stuff to rebuild them, and you're gonna want to have everything upgraded to its max. Okay, so I don't know how exactly how quickly I'll post stuff on this. but it should be at least every week. Hopefully, I'm very much hoping that it will be a lot more often than that. But school's starting up again, and I gotta make sure I get good grades. So yeah. So let's see. Artillery is a really good unit too, and since I don't have very much time, I need goods, which reminds me, I still need to buy up that stuff. So, oh good. And we have a lot of money. We usually have a lot of money to start out with, so that's really good. And we're just gonna buy up all these, including steel here, just because these are pretty much the two hardest resources to get at the beginning. Usually not too worried about oil. Now, when I first joined this game, I didn't have a chance to pick my country, and usually I like to pick my country because I will examine the map beforehand on map of archived, and see what countries have which resources. I usually like to have 2 oil, but that's just me playing bigger maps like 100 player and 50 player. But I guess, like, since it's 22 player, it's probably going to be better because you don't have as much territory to take over, and you don't need as big an army. So I guess, the way we take our core provinces and make them really good, we should be perfectly fine. And I'll tell you more about that in next few posts. So by the time I'm done with my internal construction, whatever country I'm playing as, in this case the UK, will be such an industrial powerhouse. I can have basically whatever unit I want, just churning out of it in heaps and heaps, and there's really nothing they can do to stop it. So we're going to research that artillery right now. We're also going to want to have medium tanks. I just like medium tanks because they're perfect balance. They're good at killing tanks, like really good, early level, as opposed to light tanks, and they're decently fast. And you need mobility if you want to win this game, at least quickly. So light tanks are good early game, but usually I like to have a nice reserve of medium tanks because by the time I get to that, I usually have at least 3 industrial complexes, typically on rare oil. But yeah, so you're always lacking in rares some way or another. Plus, we just need the rares to continue to build industrial complexes on oil and steel and eventually food. So yeah, wow, we're almost out of money. But I think that'll be all for today. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.